Hey, gang, this is Andy Ort Falco, Canine Academy. I'm glad that I'm finally back on with you. If you remember last week, I tried to do a couple broadcasts from Honolulu, Hawaii, but as I should know better than to try to use internet that's at a hotel, I didn't, and I gave it a shot a couple times, and of course the system crashed a couple times. So now that I'm home, been home for a couple days and have been able to get everything hooked back up again. And so I want to give you that update. Last Friday, the dogs were supposed to come in from Ireland, but for a third time, I think it's the third time, it's the second or third time, we've had a glitch in the shipment of the dogs. This really, I think, is the very first time I've had this much problem getting a dogs from Europe. Normally, it is not that big of a deal. I've flown back along with, I think it was 8 to 10 dogs. I can't remember the number now, at one time with 3 other police officers from other agencies that I was training the dogs for. And that was probably the biggest mess and the most difficulty I had getting dogs back from Europe. But fortunately for me at that time, I was with the dogs and we were able to take care of them and that kind of stuff. So don't worry, with these 2 dogs, they are still in Northern Ireland. They just have not left the facility yet. There's been some glitches between first, there was the money transfer, the wiring with the banks. There was a lack of communication between the new bank account that the vendor had and Wells Fargo Bank, and we had a couple glitches there. And then, because if you have a lowercase I and it's supposed to be an uppercase I within this very long IBAN number, or maybe you have the name of the company misspelled or something like that, and of course, when you're dealing with other countries, they sometimes have different spellings of certain words. Like in Canada, they spell, I think, color a different way than we do, and some other stuff like that. So you have to be aware of all those little tiny things. So that was the first thing. The next thing was one of the dogs got a little bit of a flu. And we've heard that in the news. I don't know if you've heard recently. There's been some issues with some canine flu going around. I may have that right now. I have the flu myself, and so maybe I have the canine version of that flu. I don't know, but I was going to say something about being on my hands and my knees, but that's a whole nother story. So I say these things just to make me laugh. Okay, so hey Jay, I'm shocked you are still struggling with. I know. And Jay Samples just sent me a message here. He's shocked because he was here when we were, I was going back and forth between the bank here at a bed bug detection dog conference here. Gosh, now it seems like it was months ago, but it was probably about 3 weeks ago. So after that, it was the dog flu, and then this last time it was a glitch in the wiring of the money from the vendor to the shipping company. I have proof, and I saw that they had sent them the money on the 5th, but somehow the shipping company didn't get the money. So the only reason I go through all this is that some of you are in the dog business. Some of you are trainers. Some of you also train detection dogs. Some of you that are pay attention to Falco Canine Academy are in the pet dog business and all that kind of stuff. So just to kind of keep you aware of kind of what happens here when we are dealing with this kind of stuff. And I think there's also some issue is, why are some dogs so expensive? Why is it so expensive to purchase working dogs and that kind of stuff? Well, these are some of the reasons why these costs kind of start to add up, because of course all these delays cost somebody money, right? And so I had already paid a broker for this last Friday for the shipment of the dogs to come on Friday. That did not happen. So the fee that I paid to get the dogs brokered through, which is handling all the paperwork, that kind of stuff, that just kind of disappears from my account, not into the thin air. And of course, time and effort that it takes into getting that all done, just wasted time. And so now we have to do it all over again for this Friday. And so as far as I know, we are back on track. I got a call from Lufthansa who said the dogs are ready to come, and so they will be coming. The next bit of business that with the glitch we had in Hawaii is that I wanted to show you one of the videos that I look at, and one of the considerations I take in when looking at a dog is watching the video of the dogs being taken into a specialized room that we have not created specifically for us, but I think there's been some things added because of the last trip that I was there. I asked for certain tests, that kind of stuff, and so Chris had added to his selection room, I guess you should call it. It should be, that's kind of like a ninja warrior type of situation where you put the dogs in and see if they could overcome certain obstacles and make it out as being one of the top dogs that we select. And so I want to make sure and let you see that video. The moment that I went to show that video last time is when the whole system crashed last time when I was in Honolulu, Hawaii. So Here, what I'm going to do is show you one of the dogs that's coming. The dog's name is Flash. And so I will show you the video of that dog going through this little bit of an obstacle course. And there we go. Oops, I should have changed that. You're seeing what I look at in BeLive.tv. So sorry about that. Here it is. All right, here's the YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and make the screen a little bit bigger so you get the full effect of seeing. So this is the opening of the video. As you can see when you come in, now you see that grate coming in. Now you would think that that's just really for the mud and stuff that's on the shoes as somebody walks in there, and that is probably one of the main reasons it's there. But also I like it because a lot of dogs would not step on that. So you have some dogs that come from the outside world where they feel most comfortable. They're coming into an environment that they've not been inside before. And now the first thing they come across is this metal grate, this wired grate that's up off the ground about an inch or more. It's probably about an inch. But immediately the dog can see that there's something funny about this room. So you want to see, what does the dog's take when they first come into the room? Do they stop at the doorway and say, I'm not coming in? Or do they come flying in like Flash here? So the door gets opened up. Flash really doesn't care. And so you're going to see that's not a big issue. So you think, he doesn't even look down. I'm telling you, other dogs will look, and then he goes and jumps back on it. So other dogs would see that, and right away that they know that this is not the place for them. So right away he goes to sniffing. There's really no command for this dog. The dog simply is selected because of his desire to search for a toy and his desire to search for that toy and to hunt for it, even though he hasn't seen it. So you can see the door was opened. And what probably happened, they probably showed him a tennis ball outside before they shut the door. So he knew somebody walked in with a tennis ball, and that is all that dog knows. There was no bouncing of the ball prior to letting him in. There wasn't any like letting him smell a tennis ball and then pretending to throw it in the room. None of that. The dog simply earlier, before the video started, probably saw a tennis ball. The door was shut, and now they let him in. And without a command, because the dog is so young and new, does not know a command for go in and search for the tennis ball. But you can see that his desire to search for that tennis ball is strong. And that is obviously what it is that we need, because we're going to connect the odor. In this case, it's going to be a bed bug odor, a live bed bug odor, to that tennis ball. So you want to marry those two things together, the odor of bed bugs, live bed bugs, and the tennis ball. Now, you'll read one of my books, the Detection Dog Manual, where I talk about that in that book, I didn't like tennis balls because they were too hard to, in some aspects, to get a dog to ignore during a search. But we've gotten over that. I don't care anymore, because you can teach a dog to ignore a tennis ball. So you saw the dog found the tennis ball, which was key. The dog hunted entirely, the entire time for that tennis ball, and then end up locating it. So here he is back in again. The tennis ball has been moved. So you can see, as most dogs would do, they go back where they last found the tennis ball, and now he's hunting now for where the tennis ball is now. You can see he's hopping over. He's jumping over. I say hopping because that's what we tell dogs to do, is hop. he hopped over the file cabinets on the side. You can see they're slippery and metal, and that is one of the things we see. We're going to go ahead and go on to ollies, and I'll describe some of the more of the obstacles that are inside. Every time I start one of these, somebody comes through the squeaky door. I called it. So this is a different dog. This is the second dog that's coming in. This dog's name is Ollie. So Ollie's coming in here. And again, you see that file cabinet on its side. It's metallic. It makes noise when they jump on it. And it's not that the importance isn't necessarily if they jump over it, land on it the first time. It's what happens the next time they're confronted with it. Do they then jump over it again? Because the first experience is simply a surprise, right? A surprise. And so now that they're not surprised, do they still jump over it? Do they still step on it? And do they care? And if they do that second time, and here he is on the third or fourth time, here he is in the sea of plastic bottles. And you want to see what his reaction is. Does he go back in after experiencing that? Yep, goes right back in. Doesn't care. He smells the odor. It's coming through probably some of the holes in that little bit of a wall there. Look at that balance on that thing. Both these dogs are fantastic. I would say they're fairly equal in their desires. Not one dog is better than the other. They're just have slightly different personalities. The reason the first dog is going to the first customer is because it's smaller than this dog. Slightly, not very much, just a little bit. And where is that? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember in this video where the ball is. I think that it's in. Oh yeah, there it is. That's right. Nice. Good. Dog did a great job there. And now it's in that little plastic PVC pipe. Again, the dog will be let in, and the search will take place again. And through the grate, dog doesn't hesitate. I know, again, when the dogs don't hesitate, you're thinking, not a big deal. When he slides off and falls, you're thinking, not a big deal. But I see huge, huge potential in the dog that goes over those things and doesn't give any care. I'm telling you that 9 times out of 10, a domestic dog here in the United States would not come back on that grade again very easily. Some would completely stop. Other dogs might jump over those the doors or the file cabinets and that kind of stuff the first time, but would probably not go up the second time, at least without a hesitation. Again, I'm looking for slight hesitations. Nice. Dog uses his nose to find it. And here, oh God, I thought this was the one where she threw it into the bottles and it bounced out. Maybe not. So this is the third time with Ollie. Now, these are just, again, some of the videos I've seen. I've seen other videos of these dogs doing other things, but this is probably one of the most important phases in regard to the dog, to see what it is they're going to do. It looks like he has a ball in his mouth when he's searching, but what he's doing is searching with his mouth and his nose. Dogs smell through their nose and their mouth. They actually taste the odor. Look at this dog just going over and walking along the edge there. Great stuff. He's smelling the odor. Look at him narrow. Look at, see him lick. He was licking. He was tasting the odor. He's going to come around, smart enough to go around. He's lost his way. Let's see so you can figure this out. Maybe it was the other direction. Nobody's giving any help. You don't hear people like encouraging and saying, "Come on, dog." You don't hear anybody using his name. Everybody's just staying silent. That's really important. That's one of the things I tell people right away is to stop talking. Talking to the dog. They can talk to each other. Just don't encourage the dog. We want to see what the dog does on his own. Now that barrier is causing him some problem because he's smelling the odor, but now he's got to figure. Now he figures out that he's got to go through there. He was like a mouse in one of those puzzles. How does the dog get through the puzzle to find the odor? Here you see him searching for odor. Look at that tail wagging, and it's inside that box. I was trying to figure out how do I get in that box without it catching my nose because there's a flap there that's closing in on his nose. Yeah. And here you want to see the persistence. I like the persistence. He doesn't want to get his nose stuck in there again. Right? Persistence is key to how hard does this dog work to get to that odor or get to that toy? Does he stay with the odor? Does he leave and go away, or does he continue I just got to figure this out? And then is he willing to get his nose stuck in there again? Now he's leave because he's a little bit frustrated. And he goes, I got to go back. I think she's thinking about helping him, but he's going to figure it out. Watch this. There we go. Good boy. All right. So that's it. Let's go back to Be Live. There we go. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get rid of my screen there. There we go. All right. Hold on. I got to stop the video so we don't have the sound there. There we go. All right, so you see an example of how hard both of those dogs worked. The reasons why we selected them, the reason why we're kind of being patient as we go through this hell of trying to get these dogs here in Ireland. Just this has just been a bigger pain than normal. And normally it does not take this long. I think it's added probably about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks to the timeline of getting these dogs in. Really not the best situation, but we can easily. Yeah, thanks, Gina. Yeah, I love the drive of those dogs too. Both of them are really good. The dogs that didn't make it, there's 2 or 3 dogs that are still there in Northern Ireland that I really like, that are still there, that are really, really good. So I don't think there's enough time to get them into the shipment that's coming next Friday. But if anybody's interested in detection dogs, just know there's a couple other dogs there that I really, really like. They're really close. One's a yellow lab, and I think there's another black lab. I can't remember that I really did like a lot. It was not that easy to narrow it down to these 2 dogs, but these are the best 2 out of 21 dogs there in Northern Ireland. And also know that the 21 that he had when we selected these 2 those 21 were also selected from other candidates. And so it comes from, a larger number of dogs throughout the area in the UK, not just Northern Ireland. that then come down to the 21 that he has that he's making available to vendors. I was fortunate enough that I came at the very beginning of the process for those two dogs, so I got to look at all 21, and then I was able to take the two best out of that batch of dogs that were over there. Some of the questions that come up about going to Ireland, I think I answered them last time, is why Europe? Why not find dogs here in the United States? And one of the reasons is because our land is so vast and the variables are so great that I won't go one place and be able to look at 21 dogs. I'd have to go someplace and look at 3 dogs and probably not take one. So let's say I'd go to Idaho to look at some where I've actually been able to find some dogs, and there's only 3 and I find none. Now I got to fly all the way back home and look for another place, and sometimes that'll be in Washington, where there's a lot of good, well-bred dogs up there too. Oregon. Have we found dogs in Orange County? Yes, on occasion. In the 20 or 30 years that I've been doing this, I've found 2 dogs in Orange County in all that time that were police style. One made it and one failed later on due to medical issues. And so the land is vast. The time it takes to look here in the United States for the less than 1% of dog that can actually do what we just saw those dogs do is difficult. Europe, one of the differences is they still breed dogs for the way they work. Here in the United States, we tend to breed dogs for the way they look, tends to be a priority. Over there, they don't really care, although looks is an issue and important in judging for things like titles and sport and that kind of stuff. So they do like, they want the dog to look a certain, if it's a specific breed. However, the traits are more important. Does a dog work? Does a dog have the desires? Does the dog have the traits? Does the dog have the courage and the confidence and the health? Right? All those things are really important. Here we just kind of, and unfortunately, this is the truth, we really just want the dogs to look good. All the other stuff will work out with training, hopefully, and put up with the other shenanigans. So when you're talking about land mass and what the dogs are bred, how they're bred here is entirely different than the way that it is in Europe. In Europe, I could actually drive around in Slovakia, for instance, where we're looking for police dogs. I can drive around in about, a week's time, 5 days. I've been and drive around the Slovak Republic and looked at about 20 or 30 dogs and been able to do that in just a couple of days. So it's just a way better system of going out to Europe. Even the extra cost of flying out there, the extra cost of shipping the dogs just makes it so much more beneficial. So that is the way to go. All right. So there's the update. Again, we're going to do more, and I'm going to tell you more as we get closer, but there was just nothing to tell you. And the internet, like I said, in Honolulu was just not cooperating. Every time I tried to go live, it went up and then it would just come right back down and just wasn't lasting. And the Wi-Fi there just was not working for some of the systems that we have there. So I apologize for that false start, but I'm home now. I was there for a week on a case and working, and so just got back and will be around. I leave for Victoria, British Columbia coming up here pretty soon, so I'll be away on that, but I'll be getting updates about the dogs and what's happening with them. All right, so that's it. Hope that was helpful to finally see the videos and especially the 2 dogs that we're bringing. I think that the last time I showed a video, it was for a dog that was not coming. And so these are the 2 dogs that are coming. And thanks, Jay. I really appreciate that. And we'll give you some more updates, and we'll be talking about some other stuff. There's a link in the title. If you want a free report for training your dog with love and respect, if you don't have it yet, I know Gina, who's one of our trainers, and Jay, who's one of my handlers, they already know all about this stuff. But if you're watching this either at live or on the replay and don't have your free report yet, go ahead and click on that link. Just enter your name and email address, and I'll email you the free report. And I have a bonus for some training on how to train your dogs at a dog park and how to get them ready for a dog park and have dog park etiquette would be important for you to watch that video. All right. And see if you want to get into that program. It's just a little bonus that comes along with the free report. So just take a look at that. And that is all. All right. I'll see you at the next one. Thanks, Gina and Jay, for joining me. And those of you that are joining on other Facebook pages that this is connected to, I can't see you because I'm on the Falco Canine Academy Facebook page. All right. That is it. I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye.